Hey, what's up guys, Rick Cordero, RunPlayBack. So today we're going to do an anatomy of a scene from a classic music video I directed for Action Bronson titled Hookers at the Point. Let's check it out. So this video is an homage to the classic HBO documentary Hookers at the Point, which premiered in 1996. Candid and raw, director and producer Brent Owens profiled prostitution on the streets of Hunts Point in the South Bronx. It was praised for showing the reality of the profession, which was far from glamorous. We shot this music video back in 2012 and wanted to capture the same grit and documentary-style authenticity as the HBO film. Action offers up a shocking first-hand account from the stunted lives of streetwalkers. Cindy, a prostitute addicted to crack, Silk, a violent, misogynistic pimp, and Ramon, a former athlete turned junkie. In this opening shot, we use an 80s Benz to simulate a famous scene from the documentary. Cindy, played by the amazingly talented Dory Greenberg, really went all out in her portrayal of this character. A vast majority of these shots were lifted directly from Action's lyrics, but the way they unfold throughout the music video give it a very narrative feel, as if we are seeing the self-destruction of each character over the course of a single night. The costumes obviously played a big role in creating an early 90s aesthetic, as well as the industrial setting which we filmed in Flushing, Queens, rather than the Bronx. Hunts Point is still a prostitution destination, but not as active as it once was in the 90s. The gritty look was achieved by filming on the Canon 5D with Zeiss CP2 cinema lenses, along with homemade streak filters for the lens flares. The bokeh that's visible from the various street lamps give it a very vintage, lived-in feel. Silk the Pimp is brought to life by Action Bronson in a number of ways, mainly in his lyrics, mannerisms, and fashion. He pitches his voice much higher and spits lyrics that really dive into the complex relationships between pimps and prostitutes. In just a few verses, he's able to mix love, dependence, loyalty, money, intimidation, threats, violence, and sex in a brutally honest way. In entertainment, pimps are typically portrayed as flashy dressers who use extortion to stand out amongst their impoverished surroundings. While that's true in this video, I'd argue that we weren't glamorizing the lifestyle like you'd often see in hip-hop during the early aughts, but rather we were showing the harrowing effects of destitution. Action's depiction of a pimp without any empathy, combined with Dory's performance as a codependent prostitute, is truly brilliant. As the instrumental continues to loop, we're already drawn deeply into this world, and I think most viewers don't really know whether to laugh or cry at this point, which is probably the best time to introduce the character of Ramon, played by producer extraordinaire Party Supplies. Party Supplies is actually a really gifted actor because of how subtle he plays Ramon. The decision people make to pay for sex repulses a large part of our population, but for the character of Ramon, he simply believes that in a free society, people should be allowed to make choices for themselves, as long as they aren't hurting anyone else. The contradiction here is that Ramon is hurting himself. The vices that he uses, drug and sex addiction, are ways to create instant gratification to distract him from a life that he sees as a dead end, driving a truck for what is most likely minimum wage, and living alone in a small apartment. The bright side is that in the last line where he refers to himself as still a hitter, we can assume that he's had some kind of success in his previous years, perhaps as an athlete, that he's trying to reclaim. Silk uses deprivation to create dependency and motivates Cindy by either compensating her with material goods or denying her any rewards. We can assume Silk set up a host of rules, quotas, and performance incentives that Cindy probably didn't meet, which is why he dumps the contents of her purse onto the street. He's looking for money that she most likely spent on drugs. We can assume that Silk prefers Cindy does not use hard drugs, but still tolerates it because she's a high-performing employee. Thank you guys for watching this anatomy of a scene. If you want to watch the full-length version of Hookers at the Point, I've included a link in the description for you to check out. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, hit me on the blog at runplayback.com. Peace.